On this episode of China Uncensored, China's perfectly perfect rule of law. Hi, welcome to China Uncensored. I'm your host, Chris Chappell. In China, they have something better than the law. They have the law with Chinese characteristics. Yes, that's right. China has made great efforts to advance the rule of law, which they never did not have. In December, they even held the first ever Constitution Day, so all the citizens of the People's Republic of China would understand all of the many freedoms they get to enjoy, whether it's the freedom to assemble, or the right to bear arms, or even freedom of the press. Unfortunately, despite all the advancements China has made with the rule of law, there is one country that would like nothing more than to see China in chaos. Germany. Sure, they seem like a happy-go-lucky people with their strudel and lederhosen, but believe it or not, there's a dark side to Germany. According to Hong Kong-based Phoenix TV, they recently sent an agent provocateur disguised as a journalist into Hong Kong during the Umbrella Revolution. As a side note, Phoenix TV is one of the only private TV networks allowed to broadcast inside mainland China, thanks to careful maneuvering by CEO Liu Changle. In fact, state-run CCTV actually owns a 10% stake in Phoenix TV, which Liu says was a symbolic gesture to show we wouldn't oppose the Communist Party. Back to the Constitution. As anyone who's ever read China's Constitution will know, democracy is a guaranteed right. So, if they already have democracy, what were those alleged student protesters of the Umbrella Movement really after? But behind Hong Kong's so-called democratic movement were the black hands of Western forces. Black hands like German reporter for Die Zeit, Angela Kukritz. She arrived in Hong Kong on September 24th with her Chinese assistant, Zhang Miao. They met in Germany. Miao has a German resident permit. She also worked in the Beijing office of Die Zeit as a news assistant. While the two were in Hong Kong posing as journalists, they were actually secretly organizing the Umbrella Movement protesters. Wait, I thought the CIA was doing that. The point is, these journalists were spying on the Communist Party even before they went to Hong Kong. They even provided funding to separatists. Sure, some might call the separatists ordinary Chinese citizens voicing their grievances to the Chinese government. Sure, some might call the funding giving $80 to an ailing civil rights lawyer so she could buy medicine after state security beat her so badly that she's now in a wheelchair. But hey, everyone has the right to their own opinion. It says so right there in the Chinese Constitution. Wait, where is that? Anyway, the two secret agents nearly got away with it, if it weren't for the plucky resourcefulness of communist authorities. They used an advanced security protocol known as looking at people's WeChats. Miao had been posting pictures of the protests, even putting a picture of a yellow ribbon as her profile picture, so authorities knew who she was. And the day she returned to Beijing, October 1st, China's National Day, she got disappeared, joining the more than 200 people in China arrested for supporting the protests, according to civil rights activists. How's that for the rule of law? I'm kidding, of course. Miao was arrested for inciting public disturbance in a village squabble, a crime that can carry a 10-year prison sentence. It had nothing to do with Hong Kong. The last thing anyone heard from this troublemaker were the words, "They want to arrest us, they hit us," before the call she made to a friend went dead. Now, you'd think justice has been done, right? After all, Miao is being held God knows where, her family hasn't heard anything, and her lawyer can't talk to her. Apparently, that's not what Angela Kukritz thought. In fact, she used Miao's disappearance as a pretext to fly back into Beijing to stir up more trouble. She also happened to live there. Now, according to China's criminal procedure law, the family must be informed within 24 hours of the arrest. And Ms. Kukritz tried to use China's perfect rule of law against authorities to get some information about Miao. But China's rule of law is too perfect. That's why the criminal procedure law has the clause, unless further investigation is required, so they could hold dangerous criminals like Miao from being torn from the hands of justice by the claws of German spies. And the best part is, security authorities don't need to say they're invoking this exception or even get it authorized. But don't get your lederhosen in a twist. The family gets a formal detention order a week later, so they can now rest assured that yes, their daughter has been arrested. Miss Cookritz spends the next few days in Beijing meeting with authorities. That is when they're not going through her apartment while she's not there. That's when they started to wonder, maybe this Angela Cookritz isn't a journalist. Maybe she's a spy, which officers from the Ministry of State Security suggest to her in a tiny windowless room in some security building that they refuse to allow her to leave. They politely yell at her to sign a 10-page statement written in Chinese that they refuse to translate, and yet, for some reason, she didn't want to. They tell her Miao's arrest isn't just about the Hong Kong protests, it's about the security and the territorial integrity of China. Oh, wait, I thought she was arrested for a village squabble. Oh well, whatever. Anyway, she flees China the next day. It's a shame, really. They have such a good rule of law. By December 10th, about 9 weeks after Miao's arrest, her lawyer is finally allowed to see her. She's fine, only suffering physically and psychologically. So, what do you do if your friend gets kidnapped in China? Well, the Chinese Ministry of State Security would like to invite you to make friends with one of the many other 1.3 billion Chinese. There's so many, is it really a big deal if one of them disappears? If you'd like to read the whole story of Miao's arrest, I've supplied a link in the comments section. The hashtag on Twitter is FreeMiao. Thanks for watching this episode of China Uncensored. You can follow me on Twitter or check out the Facebook page for more. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. See you next time.